everybody! In this video, I'm going to be going through the Elecfreaks Microbit Starter Kit Guide, experiment number 3, Trimpot. So a Trimpot is this little blue thing that we have here that has a little knob that turns and goes up and down kind of like a potentiometer. The way that this circuit is set up, so up here on the 3 volt in column number 1, I have a red wire that's running to the red rail that shares that red rail all the way along there, goes across this red wire, and then shares the red rail all the way along there for 3 volts. The same thing here at the bottom with the G for ground in column number 1. That ground wire goes down, shares the blue rail all the way across here for ground. This ground wire goes up and then shares that ground all the way across the top as well. The Trimpot on the bottom of it actually has 3 little pins, as you can see there. And those pins are going to go into column number 15, 16, and 17. And if you want to make sure that they line up properly, they actually give you these little kind of notches on the front to show you where the pins are located. On pin number 15, I'm going to run a little ground wire over to 15. On pin number 16, or column number 16, I should say, I've got running from column number 2, which hooks up to pin 0, to column number 16 there. So column 2 to column 16. And then in addition to that, I've got a little power cable running from the red wire over to column number 17 on the Trimpot. Now, if you do this Trimpot right, I'm going to turn this light down so we can see it. I've got a single light that's lit up there, and as I turn this knob up, we can see that it fills up more and more of the screen. And then when we go over to MakeCode, we'll see what's actually going on inside the scope that's built into the program. All right, here in MakeCode, this is a pretty easy program to put together. If you look in your manual on page number 6, you'll notice you have a big purple block. The big purple block is the LED blocks here, so I'm going to click LED. And I'm going to grab this one that says plot bar graph of 0 up to 0, and I'm going to drag that into my forever loop. The next thing it says it's doing an analog read pin 0, so that is under advanced. I scroll down to pins, and this time we're doing an analog read, so that's this one here, pin 0. And I'm going to drop that into the oval shape there. And then it says up to 1023 in the manual. And the reason for that 1023, so if you remember before we had a digital write, and that was always a 0 or a 1. It's kind of like a light switch that you can turn on and off. An analog read allows you to read other values between, so it's kind of more like a dimmer switch. And the reason that we have 1024 is because mathematically speaking, we're going to take 2, and I'm going to take that to the 10th power, and that gives me an answer of 1024. And because the way binary works, we always start with 0. So if you subtract one number away from that to start at 0, that's why you get the 1023 for the analog read that we're getting there. The other thing is, once you download this to your microbit, so I'm downloading that over to my microbit, you can actually show live data from your device here. So I'm going to show data device. And that gives me a little bar graph here, which is showing the value that's currently being read by my potentiometer. And I can go ahead and turn that potentiometer value around. And now I can actually get real scientific data like I'm reading an oscilloscope. And right now I'm just turning the knob up and down, making like a sine wave. And this is really useful as you start to get other sensors and other types of inputs with your microbit. You can actually capture real science data using this, so it's a great tool to have in the classroom. Good luck with your Trimpot experiment.